I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but here I am. It's been a week since I found out my fiancée, Sarah, was cheating on me. Yeah, cheating, right before our wedding. It's the kind of thing you read about in novels, not something that hits you in the gut like a sledgehammer. I'm still trying to process the whole mess, but honestly, the shock is only part of it. The real punch came when I discovered how long this had been going on and how deep her lies ran. We met in college, been inseparable for years. I trusted her with everything. Sarah was smart, driven, beautiful, and she knew how to make me laugh even on my worst days. Our wedding was set for 2 weeks from now, and I had already started imagining our future together. That's why the revelation hit so hard. I found the evidence in her old phone, tucked away like a secret, hidden inside a folder labeled Memories. Yeah, she kept a secret folder where messages. Not just innocent flirts, but full-blown conversations, jokes, plans, everything you'd need to know. She was actively betraying me. It was late at night when I saw them. I'd been rummaging through her phone out of curiosity, honestly. I'd always trusted her, but lately I'd caught her acting strange, avoiding my gaze, snapping at me over small things. I wanted to know if I was just paranoid or if there was something more. So I snuck her phone off the nightstand when she was asleep, unlocked it, and started digging. The messages were there, just sitting there like a slap in the face. The kind of thing that makes your stomach turn, flirty, suggestive, with plans to meet up the very next day. I remember the cold rush of shock as I scrolled through. My palms grew slick and my heart pounded so loud I thought it would burst out of my chest. She'd been messaging him, her best friend Tom. That's what made it all worse. I never liked him much, thought he was a little too cocky, a little too sure of himself around her. But I never thought he'd do this. I kept reading, and every message confirmed what I'd suspected. Their secret was deeper than I imagined. My head spun. I pulled out the phone and stared at those messages, feeling like I'd just been punched in the gut. How could I have missed all the signs? The late nights she'd claimed were work, the friends-only screen time, the sudden interest in fitness and getting in shape. All of it was a cover-up. I felt my stomach tighten like I'd swallowed a brick. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I just kept staring at her phone, feeling the weight of betrayal pressing down. When she finally woke up the next morning, I was already gone. She looked confused and a little guilty, but I didn't say a word. I just shoved her phone into her hand and told her to explain. Her face went white and she stammered something about being confused and stressed. That was a lie deep down, I knew it. I saw the truth in her eyes, the flicker of guilt. I've been replaying all those moments ever since. Why did I miss the signs? Did I ignore the little things? The truth is, I never wanted to believe she could do this. But now I can't unsee what I've seen. Our entire relationship, built on trust, has crumbled into dust. She's my fiancée, the woman I planned my whole life with, and she was cheating on me with my best friend. It's enough to make your blood boil. Now I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's next. Do I forgive her? Do I forget her? Or do I take matters into my own hands? Honestly, I've already started planning that last part. Because if she thought she could get away with this, she's got another thing coming. This isn't just about the betrayal, it's about respect, and she threw that all in the trash. I don't trust her anymore, and I sure as hell don't feel like being nice about it. What I haven't told anyone is how furious I am. This isn't just heartbreak. It's a burning desire for justice, something I need to do even if it's messy. Because she broke me and now I want her to see what she's lost. This isn't over, not by a long shot. The moment I found that hidden folder on her phone, I knew I couldn't just walk away from this. The shock and anger were a potent mixture, but beneath them, there was this burning instinct. I had to do something, anything. I'd always been a calm, rational person, but this, it changed everything. I remember sitting on the edge of our bed, her phone still clenched in my hand, my mind racing so fast I could hear my pulse pounding in my ears. I stared at the screen, the messages surfacing in my mind like a punch-drunk boxer. I replayed her words, her tone, the way she'd been so casual, so innocent, yet underneath it was all lies. I felt my jaw tighten and my palms grow slick again. I needed to think. Tom, her best friend, my supposed bro, was in those messages. I couldn't ignore that. That was betrayal on a whole other level. How long had this been going on? Were there others? Did I ever really know her? I decided I needed a plan, a way to confront her that would reveal everything. I didn't want her to think I was just angry. I wanted her to see that I knew every lie, every secret. I had to make her realize that her world was about to collapse if she kept playing games. I started imagining how I'd catch her, what I'd say, what I'd do. Revenge, yes, that was the only thing that kept me from losing. My mind. First, I needed evidence. Not just those messages, but proof that this was ongoing, that she'd been sneaking around with Tom for weeks, maybe months. I remembered seeing her hide her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. Little things, her slipping away to answer calls, deleting texts, even hiding her screen when I entered the room. I'd noticed her phone vibrate more often, her fingers trembling slightly when she unlocked it. Now I knew why. Those signs had been there, I just hadn't seen them clearly enough. I started collecting. I downloaded a simple app to monitor her messages more discreetly. I knew it was wrong, but at that point I didn't care. I needed to know everything. Over the next couple of days, I kept a low profile. I'd hide in the shadows, watch her, see if she slipped up. I wanted her to think she was still in control. Meanwhile, my mind was racing, plotting what I'd say, how I'd catch her red-handed, and what I'd do once I had everything. One night I came home early from work. I caught her in the act, texting Tom again, laughing at something I couldn't see. I saw her stare at her phone, then quickly hide it behind her back when I entered. That's when I snapped. My stomach dropped and a cold sweat broke out on my forehead. I confronted her right there in the living room, voice trembling with rage. "Who the hell is Tom?" I demanded, my voice sharp, almost a growl. She froze, then tried to deny it. "It's nothing, just some stupid jokes. It's nothing to get upset about." "Really? You think I'm stupid?" I stepped closer, my fists clenched. "You've been messaging him behind my back for months. How long have you been planning this?" She looked pale, her eyes darting around like a trapped animal. "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me." I cut her off. "I saw everything, the messages, the plans. I have proof." "How long?" She finally broke, tears welling up. "It's been a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was stressed. I was confused." "Bullshit," I spat. "You betrayed me, Sarah. You lied to my face for weeks. And Tom, my best friend." Her voice cracked and she looked like she wanted to say something, but the words wouldn't come. I felt my stomach turn again. The betrayal was like a fist squeezing my chest. All the trust, all the love I'd given her, it was all just a lie. That night I realized I had to do more than just be hurt. I had to be smart. I had to make her see that I wasn't just some fool to be played. The idea of revenge started to take shape in my head. I started planning how I'd make her regret this. I wanted to expose her, make her feel how much she'd hurt me. And I wanted her to understand that I was done being the fool, done being the one who forgave and forgot. This betrayal cut too deep. I knew I'd find my way to make her pay, one way or another. All I needed now was time, patience, and a precise plan. I wasn't about to let her get away with this without consequences. She'd pushed me to the edge, and I was ready to jump. Over the next few days, I kept my cool on the surface, but inside I was a ticking bomb. Every time I saw her, I could feel my fists clenching, my jaw tightening. I had to keep my cool, at least until I was ready. I started gathering everything I'd need for the next phase. Photos of her messages, copies of the texts with timestamps, a few recordings I secretly made of her frantic attempts to deny everything. I wasn't planning to just confront her again. This was about making her understand she was caught, and I had proof. The plan was simple but cruel in its own twisted way. I wanted her to realize just how much she'd lost, how her deception had shattered everything. I decided that once I was ready, I'd confront her in front of her friends, maybe even the family. I wanted her to see what she'd thrown away. I'd leave her with no doubt that I knew everything and that I was prepared to walk away for good. One evening, she sat on the couch, nervously scrolling through her phone. I could see her eyes flickering, trying to hide her guilt. I sat across from her, calm on the outside but burning inside. I decided it was time to push her, see how far she was willing to go to deny it all. "You know I found out, right?" I asked, voice steady but cold. She looked up, startled. "Found out what?" "Don't play innocent," I said. "I know about Tom, I know about the messages, everything. Did you really think you could hide this from me forever?" Her face went pale, she looked down, trying to gather herself. "It was a mistake, I was confused, I didn't mean for it to happen, I swear." You swear. I leaned forward. You're lying to my face. You've been lying to me for weeks. How many times did you think you could get away with it? She swallowed hard, tears streaming down her cheeks. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't know how to tell you. You didn't want to hurt me. Then why was I seeing pictures of her and you kissing, messages about meeting up, planning your secret times? Did you think I wouldn't find out? Her lips trembled. I was scared. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I shook my head. You had plenty of chances to tell me the truth. And instead you chose to hide it. You're the one who broke everything, not just me, but us, our future, everything I believed in. Her shoulders shook as she cried. I love you. I didn't want to lose you. I felt my stomach churn. Love, that wasn't love. What she did was betrayal. I was starting to see that I needed more than just words. I needed a way to make her understand that her actions had consequences. That night I decided I'd had enough. I sat down and mapped out my plan. I wasn't going to just break it off. They'd already destroyed what we had. No, I wanted her to see what she'd lost, and I wanted to do it in a way that left her feeling helpless. Not with threats or shouting, she'd had enough of that. Instead, I'd make sure she knew I had everything. The proof, her secrets, everything. I planned to leave her with a parting gift, something that would make her rethink her choices. Something that would tell her that she couldn't cheat and get away with it, not without consequences. I'd make her regret this forever. As I sat there, staring at the photos and recordings, a strange calm settled over me. I wasn't angry anymore. I was determined. She pushed me to the edge, and now I was ready to deliver the blow. The pieces were falling into place. I just needed to wait for the right moment for her to feel the full weight of her betrayal. When that day comes, she'll know I wasn't the one who lost everything she was, and I'd be the one to make sure she remembered it forever. The day I decided was the day everything changed. I woke up with a strange clarity, knowing exactly what I had to do. I spent the morning organizing everything, screenshots, recordings, her secret messages, all neatly stored on a separate device. I didn't want her to suspect a thing until it was time. My goal was to confront her, but not just with words. I wanted her to see that I had been prepared, that I had evidence she couldn't deny, and most importantly, that she had crossed a line she couldn't come back from. That afternoon, I told her I had some errands to run. She looked relieved, probably hoping I'd leave her alone while she got her head straight. I did. Argue, instead, I handed her a small bag, pretending it was just a gift for her. Inside was a cheap but reliable GPS tracker I'd secretly planted on her car the night before. She looked at me suspiciously, but I kept my composure. You might want to stay home, I said casually. I have a feeling you'll want to know where I've been too. Her eyes widened, and for a brief moment I saw her panic. That's when I knew I was hitting the mark. I wasn't just threatening anymore. I was about to deliver my version of justice. I stepped out, watching her closely, and then headed to my car where I activated the tracker. The thing was small but precise, and I knew exactly where she'd go. The plan was simple. I'd follow her, gather proof of her continued betrayal, then confront her with everything she'd tried to hide. My stomach was in knots all afternoon. I followed her route through town, first to a coffee shop, then to a small, secluded parking lot behind her favorite gym. When I saw her step out, I parked a block away, hiding behind a cluster of trees. I kept my phone ready, recording as she met someone in the shadows. It was Tom. I saw them exchange a quick kiss, their bodies pressed close. The scene was almost cinematic, the way they thought they weren't being watched. My hands clenched into fists, my chest tightening so hard I thought I'd suffocate. I felt my face turn cold with rage. They were still lying, still pretending everything was innocent. I kept recording as she leaned in for another kiss, her hands on his shoulders. I felt a strange mix of betrayal and satisfaction. I'd finally caught her red-handed. This was the proof I needed. My mind raced, planning how I'd make her understand that her secrets had been laid bare. I didn't wait long. I got out of my car, clutching the device, and approached her while she was still wrapped up in that moment. She saw me and froze, her face draining of color. Tom looked startled, his eyes darting between us. "Sarah," I said calmly, voice cold as ice, "I think you should come with me." She looked like she was about to protest, but I cut her off. "You've lied to me for weeks. You thought you Could hide this forever. Well, I've got everything I need to expose you." Her lips trembled, but she didn't speak. Tom, meanwhile, looked guilty but defiant. "This isn't over," he muttered under his breath, trying to stand his ground. "Oh, I think it is," I said, voice sharp. "You both thought you could keep this hidden, but I'm not the kind of guy who lets betrayal slide. Not anymore." I pulled out the phone with the recordings and showed her the timestamp videos. She stared, eyes wide with disbelief and horror. "Tell me," I demanded, "how long has this been going on? How many nights did I spend thinking I was building a future with someone who was just using me?" She broke down then, tears streaming as she tried to speak. "I was stupid. I didn't mean for it to get this far. Save it," I cut her off. "You had your chances. I gave you every benefit of the doubt, but now I have what I need. And I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are." I handed her the phone with the proof. Her hands shook as she looked at the videos. I saw her finally realize she wasn't walking away from this clean. I wanted her to feel that. I wanted her to understand that her lies, her betrayal, had consequences. As I turned to walk away, I felt my stomach settle a little, knowing I made the first move in the game I was about to play. I didn't want revenge just to hurt her. It was about making her see that she couldn't cheat and get away with it, not without paying a price. I'd spent too long trusting her, and now I was finally taking control. This wasn't just about ending things. It was about making sure she remembered the day her lies caught up with her. After that day, everything changed. I felt a strange mixture of relief and numbness, like I'd finally hit the reset button on a relationship I'd thought was rock solid. But beneath that, I knew I'd unleashed something that wouldn't just fade away. The proof was out, and I'd made my move. Now it was just a matter of waiting for her to realize what she'd lost and how I was going to handle the fallout. She did. Contact me for a couple of days. I expected tears, apologies, maybe even begging. Instead, she stayed quiet, probably trying to decide her next move. I kept to myself, going through the videos and messages I'd collected, trying to anticipate her reactions. I wasn't about to give her the upper hand now. I'd made sure she understood I was serious, that I wasn't going to let her lie her way out of this. Then one evening, she finally broke. She called me, voice trembling. I didn't pick up at first, but after a few minutes I decided to listen. I needed to hear what she had to say, if she even had the guts. "Please, can we talk?" she pleaded when I answered. Her voice was shaky, almost childlike. "I know I messed up, but we're supposed to get married. Don't do this, please." I took a deep breath, feeling my stomach tighten again. "You already did this," I said flatly. "You lied, betrayed me, and thought you could get away with it. I don't know what you expect me to say now." "I was stupid," she whispered, voice cracking. "I was scared, I didn't know how to tell you. I never wanted to hurt you, really, because from where I'm standing it looks like you did everything you could to hide this. You lost my trust, Sarah. You think I can just forgive that?" "I love you," she cried. "I made a mistake, but I love you. Please give me a chance to fix this." That made my stomach turn. Love, she thought that would fix everything. No, love wasn't enough anymore. She'd already proven she didn't respect me. That's what hurts the most. Not just the betrayal, but the fact that she thought she could say those words and everything would go back to normal. I felt my fists clench again. "I don't think I can do this," I said, voice cold. "Not anymore. You had your chance, Sarah. You threw it away. And now I'm done playing along. I've got everything I need to make sure you remember this for the rest of your life." Her sobs grew louder. "Please, don't ruin everything." "I'll do anything. You should have thought of that before cheating on me with my best friend." I cut her off. "You're not just losing me, you're losing everything. Your reputation, your relationship with everyone who ever trusted you. And I'll be making sure everyone knows exactly who you really are." That night, I drafted my final move. I wasn't interested in revenge for the sake of revenge. No, I wanted her to feel the full weight of her actions, to see her carefully curated life fall apart piece by piece. I knew exactly what to do. I'd already prepared a file of everything, and I was ready to send it to her family, her friends, the people who mattered most. They'd know the truth. They'd see her for who she truly was. I went to bed that night feeling the cold satisfaction of having taken control. I knew she'd be upset, embarrassed, maybe even humiliated. But I also knew it was necessary. She needed to see that cheating and lying had consequences, real ones. Not just a breakup, but social fallout that would follow her. In the morning, I woke up early. I grabbed the file I'd been working on, double-checked everything, and prepared to send it out. I even found a way to make it anonymous, so she wouldn't know who was behind it. I'd done enough dirty work for one day. Now it was time to let her face her own reflection in the mirror. As I pressed send, I felt a strange calm. Not victory exactly, more like clarity. I'd lost the girl I thought I knew, but I'd also regained a part of myself I'd let slip away. This wasn't just a breakup. It was a reckoning, and I had no regrets. Sometimes you have to do what's necessary to reclaim your dignity, and that's exactly what I did. The days that followed were a blur of chaos and clarity. The moment I hit send on that file, I knew everything was about to change, whether she liked it or not. The messages, the videos, the proof of her betrayal, all went out quietly, anonymously, leaving her to face the fallout alone. I sat back, feeling the weight lift off my chest, but also knowing the storm was just beginning. She was furious, of course. Calls came in, messages flooded her inbox. Friends she'd trusted, family members she'd brushed off as overreacting, all learned the truth in the most brutal way. I didn't watch the aftermath. I didn't need to. Part of me wanted to see her scramble, to hear her plead, but another part knew that was beneath me now. I'd already won, I just had to wait for her to realize it. She confronted me once, face streaked with tears, voice trembling. Why did you do this? I told you I loved you. I looked her straight in the eyes, cold and steady. Because love isn't just about words, it's about trust. And you broke that trust in a way I'll never be able to forgive. You had your chance, Sarah. I gave you the benefit of the doubt and you threw it in my face. Now everyone else gets to see the truth. Her shoulders sagged, defeated. You're destroying everything, she whispered. Maybe, I said quietly, but I'm saving myself. I won't be the fool who stayed silent while she was being used and lied to. I'd rather be alone than with someone who treats love like a game. I paused, then added, don't call me again. I don't want anything from you anymore. That was the last conversation we had. I refused to be pulled into any more drama. Instead, I focused on rebuilding what I could, my dignity, my self-respect. I took a long, hard look at myself in the mirror, heart pounding but clear. I hadn't just lost her, I'd lost the illusion of what I thought we had, but I'd gained something else, a sense of strength I'd buried under all the trust and hope. The aftermath was messy. Friends drifted away, some siding with her, others quietly supporting me. My family was disappointed but understood. I didn't need their approval, I only needed to heal. And that I did slowly, through the pain, the anger, and finally, the acceptance. Looking back, I realized this isn't just a story of betrayal and revenge. It's about realizing your worth when everything you trusted crumbles. I learned that sometimes, the only way to protect yourself is to cut ties with the false illusions you cling to. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. I chose to walk away with my head held high. To anyone going through something similar, here's my advice. Trust yourself more than you trust others. When the signs start adding up, don't ignore them. Confront it head on, gather your proof, face your truth. And above all, remember that your value isn't determined by someone else's betrayal. Sometimes the best revenge is simply walking away and building a life that's truly yours again. I handed over the keys to the apartment, packed my bags, and moved out. No drama, no shouting. Just a quiet, firm decision to reclaim my peace. That's what really matters in the end, knowing you did what was right, even when it hurts. Because in the end, you're the only one left standing for yourself.